Okay, let's talk about plastic pollution. We all know the statistic, right? 8 million tons dumped into our oceans every single year.
Yeah, it's a number that's almost too big to really picture. Like, what is it? A garbage truck full every single minute.
Every minute, nonstop. It's pretty overwhelming. But what if some of that, complex digital tech like crypto stuff could actually help fix something so physical like recycling?
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today
Yeah.
because you see this real desire from people, right? They want to help the environment, but sometimes it feels like you don't know where to start or if what you do helps.
Totally. You throw your plastic bottle in the bin and just hope.
Exactly. So solutions that show you the impact, that make it tangible, they're needed more than ever.
Absolutely. And that perfectly sets up Synergy Recycle B, or SRB. They're a startup looking squarely at this problem.
Their mission seems pretty clear. Use tech to shake up recycling, make it worthwhile, make it sustainable.
So today, our goal is to unpack how SRB is trying to turn recycling from, let's face it, often a chore nobody really sees the end result of, into something rewarding, something with real impact.
And they're using blockchain to do it, which sounds complicated, but maybe it isn't in practice. That's what we need to figure out, how it fosters that sustainable future they're aiming for.
Yeah, and to do that, we've got a good stack of sources. We've looked at their official docs, the ones explaining the token, the mechanics, presentation slides.
We even had some direct chats about the project, the vision, the challenges they expect. So, pretty comprehensive.
Okay, so let's start with that feeling you mentioned, tossing stuff in the recycling bin. It often feels like a black hole, right?
Yeah, the hope system of recycling, there's just no transparency. Where does it go? Does it actually get recycled? It's a big question mark.
And that makes it feel like just another task, another chore you have to do. So what's wrong with the old ways that SRB is trying to fix?
Well, you nailed it. It's that lack of transparency, that missing feedback loop. We send things away, but we don't see the outcome.
Which naturally leads to people kind of losing motivation, right? If you don't see the point.
Exactly. You don't feel connected to the solution. So how does SRB tackle this? You mentioned blockchain. How does that help me, someone just wanting to recycle a can?
Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Think of blockchain like a super secure digital logbook, an incorruptible ledger.
Right.
When you put your can, say, into an SRB smart collector, boom, it's instantly logged on that ledger.
And that log can't be messed with, like deleted or changed?
Look, immutable, that's the term.
Yeah.
So every single bottle, every can gets its own unique digital passport, basically.
Ah, okay. A digital passport. So I
Right.
could theoretically follow my can's journey, see that it actually did get recycled.
That's the idea. You can actually see your impact. It shifts things towards that circular economy idea we hear about.
Where stuff gets reused, not just used once and tossed. Moving away from that take, make, dispose linear model.
Exactly. And critically, while blockchain is under the hood, they really stress that the user side is simple. Like, easy enough for anyone aged 7 to 99, not just tech whizzes.
That's key. And they use polygons tech, right? Which helps make it fast.
Yeah, Polygon's layer 2. It means they can handle, get this, up to 65,000 transactions a second.
Wow, 65,000. So if a whole city started using it, the system wouldn't just grind to a halt.
Apparently not. Near instant finalization, they say. So you recycle your bottle, you get your reward practically immediately, no waiting.
Okay, that tackles a big potential frustration. So let's walk through it. I've got my recyclables at home. What do I actually do?
Right, the user experience. First, download the SRB app, set up an account. Pretty standard stuff.
Okay.
Then you just collect your plastic bottles, your cans, whatever they accept.
And then do I need special bags or anything?
Nope. You just take your collection to one of their partner locations. These places have the SRB smart collectors.
Got it. And at the collector machine.
You pull out your phone, scan a QR code on the machine with the app. It connects via Bluetooth, I think.
Okay.
Then you just feed your items in one by one. The machine counts each piece automatically.
And then the magic happens? The robot.
Instantly, or near instantly. You get SRB tokens right there in your app based on how many items you put in.
Wow, okay. Simple process, instant reward. So these SRB tokens, what are they? Are they just like loyalty points or?
Good question. This is the core incentive. Basically, the rule is simple. One bottle or one can equals one SRB token.
Mostly.
Yeah, they mentioned a slight reduction if you recycle a lot at once. Like 10 bottles might get you 9.2 tokens, not 10. But it's still very direct. One item, one token, roughly.
And they treat all materials the same. A can is worth the same as a bottle.
Yep. Simplifies things, keeps it equitable.
Okay, clear incentive. But what can I do with these SRB tokens? Are they stuck inside the SRB app?
No, that's the cool part. They're building an ecosystem. You can use your SRB tokens to actually buy stuff from their partners.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, they give examples like earning a coffee or maybe other sustainable products offered by partners, things within that SRB network.
Hold on. So I recycle my plastic water bottle, get some tokens, and that could literally pay for my coffee later.
That's the pitch. Pretty neat, right?
Yeah, that is pretty cool. It
Cool.
connects the action directly to a tangible reward you can use.
And it doesn't stop there. This is where the crypto side comes back in. You can apparently take these SRB tokens to decentralized exchanges, like Uniswap,
Okay.
and trade them. Swap them for other cryptocurrencies, like USDT, which is pegged to the dollar, or even potentially for actual euros or other fiat currency.
Whoa. So they have real economic value outside the SRB system, too. You could potentially cash out.
Seems like it. So yeah, it's like a double reward. You do good, you potentially get some actual monetary value back.
That's a powerful motivator. But what about the token supply? Are they just gonna print infinite tokens? That usually doesn't end well.
Now, they've thought about that. There's a fixed total supply, 100 billion SRB tokens ever.
100 billion. Okay, fixed supply. How are they distributed?
Strategically, a big chunk, 40%, is specifically earmarked for those recycling incentives. That's the core mission.
Good. Makes sense.
The rest is for things like development, marketing, building partnerships, and keeping some in reserve. It's designed for long-term sustainability of the project itself.
Okay, that structure sounds logical. Thinking long term. What about scaling? If tons of people start using this, how does the system handle it? Does everyone just get fewer rewards or...
They have systems for that too. Dynamic limits. There's a daily cap on how much you can recycle initially, like 100 items, bottles and cans combined.
A cap per person per day?
Yeah, but it's dynamic. It adjusts based on how many people are actively using the system and how much is being recycled overall.
Ah, so if fewer people are participating, maybe the cap goes up slightly, and if it's super busy, it might adjust down to keep things fair.
Exactly. It's about balancing usage and making sure the infrastructure isn't overwhelmed. Keeps it fair.
Smart. And I think I saw something about encouraging recycling at different times, like bonuses.
You did. They have a time slot system with multipliers to spread out the load on the collectors.
How does that work?
So like maybe recycling during off-peak hours gets you a 1.5x token bonus.
Oh, interesting.
Or recycling late at night could give you an even bigger boost, maybe 1.8x. It encourages people not to all show up at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Right. Optimizes the physical machine usage, reduces lines. Clever. That sounds technically complex to manage in real time, though.
I'm sure it is behind the scenes, but for the user, it should just show up as potential bonus times in the app. And they also have ways to encourage making it a habit.
Yeah, consistency is key for real environmental impact. How do they nudge people towards that?
Through bonuses again. They call it a point accumulation system. If you recycle for, say, 7 days straight,
Yeah.
you get a 1.3% bonus on your earnings.
Okay, a little extra bump.
Recycle at least 15 days in a month. That bumps up to a 2% bonus.
Getting better.
And if you're really consistent over a whole quarter, like recycling on 45 days out of 90,
Yeah.
you get a 2.7% bonus.
Ah, so the reward grows the more consistent you are. That definitely encourages building a routine.
Exactly. It's not just about one big haul. It's about regular participation. And the app itself helps keep you engaged.
How so? What features does it have?
Well, a real-time dashboard, for starters, shows you the system status, how many people are active, average amounts being recycled,
Keeps you informed.
plus interactive tutorials, notifications that are supposed to be predictive, maybe telling you when is a good time to recycle for a bonus.
Oh, like smart nudges.
Yeah, and an interactive map to find the collectors, showing maybe traffic or how busy they are, suggests routes.
Okay, pretty comprehensive tool.
But beyond just the info and the tokens, does it make recycling fun? Does it feel like a game at all? Because chores aren't fun.
Right, good point. And yes, they seem to be leaning heavily into gamification.
Like,
Things like leveling up based on your consistency streaks. Weekly and monthly leaderboards, so you can see how you stack up against others.
a little friendly competition.
Exactly. And even random bonus periods popping up occasionally to keep things exciting. It's all designed to make recycling feel less like an obligation and more like a rewarding activity you actually want to do.
Shifting it from chore to maybe even a hobby.
Hmm.
Okay, so they're building this whole engaging ecosystem, which brings up governance. Who decides the rules? Do the users, the token holders, get a say?
They do. And this is pretty important in the Web3 space. SRB has a decentralized governance system. Token holders get voting rights.
On what kind of things?
Key project decisions. Happens quarterly. Things like how funds in their green treasury are spent, new features, big partnerships.
How does the voting work? Does everyone get one vote?
It's based on token holdings typically. There are requirements, like you need a certain number of tokens, maybe 100,000 SRB, just to submit a proposal.
Okay, sets bar.
And for a vote to count, a certain percentage of tokens need to participate. That's the quorum, maybe 20%. And for a proposal to pass, especially a big one, it might need a supermajority, like 65% approval.
So it's like a mini democracy for the recycling project run by the users. That adds a layer of trust, I guess.
Definitely. It promotes ownership, collective responsibility, and it's all tracked on the blockchain, so it's transparent. People can verify the votes.
Transparency is huge, especially with crypto involved. Speaking of which, the legal stuff. Is this SRB token considered a security? Because that's a minefield.
Yeah, critical question. And they've been very clear in their documentation. They classify SRB explicitly as a utility token, not a security token.
What's the difference in simple terms?
Basically, a utility token is designed to be used within a specific system or platform. Its value comes from its function, like using it to pay for partner services, getting lower fees, or having more voting weight in SRB's case.
Okay, and a security token.
That's more like a traditional investment, where you expect profits based on the efforts of others, like getting dividends or interest. SRB is structured to avoid that.
So the benefits are operational, not financial returns.
Exactly. Greater voting power, maybe lower transaction fees inside their system, early access to features, but no promise of passive income or investment growth.
And does this classification align with regulations like in the EU or US?
They state it's designed specifically to comply with major frameworks like MiCA in the EU, CONSOB guidelines in Italy, and even pass the Howey test used in the US to define securities.
So they've done their legal homework.
It appears so. They also mention compliance with KYCM, know your customer, and anti-money laundering rules, and GDPR for data privacy. They seem committed to playing by the book.
Okay, that's reassuring. So zooming out, what's the grand vision here? What kind of real-world impact are they hoping for?
They have some big, ambitious goals. They're aiming for an 80% recycling rate for the materials they handle.
80%. That's huge compared to typical rates.
It is. And they translate that into potential impact, maybe saving 500 tons of CO2 emissions. They're also aiming to get over 1,000 participants actively involved through their campaigns.
So connecting individual recycling actions to these larger environmental benefits.
Precisely. It's about making that link clear. How does this fit into the bigger picture of, say, the circular economy?
Well, it's a perfect example, really. Moving away from take, make, dispose, SRB creates a mini loop right there.
How is their approach different from just, better municipal recycling?
It's the combination, I think. The direct incentive for you, the individual, combined with the transparent tracking, plus the community and gamification. It tackles the motivation and information gaps head on. It shows how tech can make these closed-loop systems work better.
So it could be a model for other areas, too.
Potentially. They seem to operate on four main pillars: efficiency, reliability, that's the blockchain part, innovation and scalability, being ready to grow.
Makes sense. And wasn't there something about how the system funds itself or gives back a fee?
Yeah, the ecosystem regeneration mechanism. Sounds fancy, but it's basically a small transaction fee, 3%, on SRB token activities.
Okay, where does that 3% go?
It's split. A good chunk, 1.8%, goes into a green treasury.
And that funds?
Real environmental projects, reforestation, cleaning up oceans, investing in green tech. And get this, they plan to link these projects to NFTs.
NFTs? How does that work?
Like a unique digital certificate on the blockchain proving that a specific action, funded partly by your transaction fee, actually happened. Maybe verifying a tree was planted.
Wow. So you could trace the fee's impact down to a specific outcome. That's very transparent.
Exactly. Makes the fee feel less like a cost and more like a contribution.
Okay, that's the 1.8%. What about the rest of the 3%?
The other 1.2% is used for ecosystem regeneration, mainly by burning tokens.
Burning tokens, meaning destroying them.
Yeah, removing them permanently from circulation. This creates deflationary pressure, which can help stabilize the token's value over the long run and rewards long-term holders.
Okay, a mechanism for long-term health of the token itself. It really sounds like a well-thought-out system, but no project is without challenges, right? What hurdles do you see for SRB?
Definitely. Scaling something like this globally is tough. First off, crypto regulation, it's still a moving target everywhere.
Yeah, governments are still figuring it out. SRB will need to stay nimble and compliant as rules change in different countries.
For sure. What else? They rely on physical machines, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So partnerships are critical. They need places, stores, community centers, wherever willing to host these smart collectors.
Right. Building and maintaining those relationships is key. Needs to be a win-win for SRB and the partner location.
Definitely. And then there's the public perception, blockchain.crypto.
Right.
It can still sound intimidating or confusing to a lot of people.
Yeah, the education piece. How do you get everyday folks comfortable using an app tied to this tech, even if it's simple on the surface?
That's a big hurdle. They need really clear communication, super intuitive app design, and maybe focus on the benefits, the rewards, the environmental impact, rather than the underlying tech jargon.
Make it about the what, not the how. Okay, so tech, partnerships, education. But maybe the biggest question is just, will people actually do it consistently?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the 100 billion token question here. Will these incentives be enough to genuinely change long-term behavior on a mass scale?
Because habits are hard to break, and new ones are hard to form, even with rewards.
Exactly. The financial incentive is a hook, for sure. But for sustained change, it probably needs more.
So what's the key then, beyond just getting tokens?
I think that transparency piece we talked about is huge. Actually seeing your impact, knowing your bottle didn't just end up in landfill, that connects on a deeper level.
Making it tangible.
Yeah.
Seeing the proof on the blockchain or seeing the trees planted via the Green Treasury NFTs.
Yeah. It moves beyond just a transaction.
Mhm.
And then there's the community aspect.
Right. The leaderboards feeling part of a movement.
If they can build a genuine community around this shared goal where people encourage each other, share their successes, that's powerful. It becomes less about individual gain and more about collective action.
Gamifying sustainability, making it social, making it rewarding.
Wow.
It turns the whole concept on its head. It's not about sacrifice. It's about finding smarter, better ways.
Exactly. Systems that benefit us and the planet.
Well, wrapping this up, I got to say, diving into SRB leaves me feeling surprisingly optimistic. It's a complex problem, but this feels like a genuinely innovative approach.
Me too. It shows that creative thinking combined with technology and, understanding human motivation can actually tackle these massive challenges. They're not just talking, they're building tools.
And it's a reminder, isn't it? We don't have to just wait around for governments or big corporations to solve everything. Initiatives like this empower individuals.
Yeah, you can start making a difference yourself right now. Your choices, even small ones like recycling a can, they add up. SRB just gives those small actions a supercharger, technologically and motivationally.
It really shows how technology can amplify our choices, which leaves us with a thought to chew on. If this kind of incentivized, transparent, community-driven approach can work for recycling, what other parts of our daily lives, what other global challenges could be transformed if we applied the same kind of thinking?